Hello, lovely people.
Good evening.
Good evening. Oh, it is evening, isn't it? Yeah, it must be. It's so dark all day long because of the rain. You actually lose track of the time. It's been raining like solidly for like 6 days or something. It's
Continuous.
I've got this like little thing as well I must tell you about. There's a drip that comes from the ceiling here. So it's a pretty solid house, not much in the way of drips. There's this one drip in this house, but it's right above my head. So sometimes when I'm talking to you, this drip will drip down the back of my neck, and I have to ignore it and carry on like the professional I am. Anyway, now I know.
Steve.
If you see a little twitch every now and again, I haven't got like some strange neurological thing. It's just this drip of water going down the back of my neck. Anyway, one just happened then. Anyway. Today, what we're going to do, as promised, we're remaking a video that we did ages ago, which is Daal. Now, to me, this is the most important dish that I learned in terms of Indian cooking. It sort of introduced me to layering and adding things at different times, and it's a staple. Millions and millions of people eat this every single day. I mean, there are different versions of it. This version I learned from a guy called Bala, who we met when we first came to India. We used to go to North Goa years and years ago, and this guy didn't have a lot of money, and he worked in a shack, and he was the cook in this shack. And we got friendly with him because in those days there were a lot of tourists, so you get time to meet people and talk to them and everything. Anyway, I wanted to learn a bit more about cooking, Indian cooking and everything, so I used to bug him. Anyway, sometimes he'd let me in the kitchen if we had a lot of people to serve and he didn't have he was on his own and he needed a bit of help. I'd go in and help him. Anyway, this mild-mannered Bala, was about this tall he was, little man like that. As soon as he got in that kitchen, he was the boss. He used to tell me off and shout. He was like Gordon Ramsay or something. And then when we came out again, as soon as we walked out the kitchen door, he was mild-mannered and humble again. Anyway, he let me help him, and he taught me how to cook this dal. I've obviously pimped it a bit over the years and added a few extra bits and pieces in there. Like, he didn't cook it with vegetables in, and I do, and he cooked a more basic version, but it was what he grew up with and what he'd learned to make. And it's as I say, it's the best dish I've learned to cook.
And it's favourite also.
And a favourite.
Yeah.
And it's set me off on a journey of learning other things, gave me the interest to learn other things. Anyway, I've twattled on for long enough. Twattle, that's a great word. I'm just going to show you how to cook this thing as simply and easy and quickly as I can. So, we've got some, don't need that ring on anymore, do we? We've got some dal. This is the red dal cooking away here, the red split lentils. They're good to use because they don't need to soak. You can use the yellow ones as well, they don't need soaking either. So anyway, I don't think it matters that much how long you cook them for, so I always just set them off cooking while I do everything else, while I chop the vegetables and everything to go in it. So if we come back over here, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add some vegetables in with the dal to cook away while I show you how to prepare the dish. Now, as I say, you don't have to use any vegetables. You can make the dal simply how he did, or at the end you can just add a handful of spinach and let it wilt down, so there you've got like a dal palak. So anyway, I'm just going to chuck all those in there. So we've got pumpkin, carrot, courgette, zucchini I believe you call that, a little bit of green capsicum, and one small potato. Now, there was no big choice about what to use. These are what I had in the fridge.
You can use whatever you all have in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Anna later on will probably explain what her family make and how it differs from what I do, but this is what we're going to do. So we're just going to put all those in there. The benefit to me of these all being root vegetables is they'll probably all cook at around about the same time. Well, they're not all root vegetables, they're mainly root vegetables, should I say. So I'll just give those a little twizzle around. So I'm just going to leave those cooking away in the background while we do everything else. Right, so now I've prepared everything just for ease. I mean, you don't need to see me chopping. So on this plate is what Bala showed me went into his dal. So we've got one chopped tomato, one small chopped onion, probably 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, but these are slightly smaller, the cloves here, than the ones you get in the UK, so you decide, but I think a lot of garlic's quite nice anyway. We've got about an inch piece of ginger, so it's probably about the size of the end of my thumb, and I've just chopped it up small. And there's 3 chilies there, 2 mild and 1 hot. You can decide how much chili you like yourself. I would start on the milder side if you're not used to chilies, and maybe just use a couple of mild ones. Right, that's the basic vegetables for the dish. Now the first thing you put in the pan, I've just trodden on Suvrana's foot and she didn't make a sound. What a professional she is. So the first thing I'm going to do is light the gas. And this is a technical issue there. We've got another one of those horrible little dialogue boxes. It told me the memory was full. So anyway, we're back. So first things first, I'm going to heat a little oil in that pan. And while that's heating, there's probably a couple of tablespoons of oil in there. You do have to use a little oil in this dish. You can't really get away with not using a small amount. What I was going to say to you is, I'm going to show you first of all the basic structure of the dal that I was taught by Bala. Now over the years I've added a few things just because I've been cooking it for a long time, and these are the things I've added. I put them on a separate tray, so I'll show you those in a moment. But first of all, we're going to add in the what I was taught to cook. So, what we have here, we have jeera seeds, which is cumin seeds. So we're going to add approximately half a spoonful of those into the oil. It's better if the oil's a little bit hotter, to be honest, but because of the sake of the video, I'm going to put it in now because it'll be spitting all up my arm while I'm talking. And the same again of black mustard seeds. Okay, so that's going in there. This is something I'm trying to get in the habit of, is not having the spices directly over the heat of the stove. I tell people to do it and then I don't do it myself. Because if you imagine having a garam masala or something and tipping it in directly from the packet, the steam's getting in there, so it's affecting the taste of the spice. So it's best if you can do it away from the actual heat. Anyway, so we've got jeera and we've got mustard in there. The last thing out of this little pile, I'm going to put a little bit of turmeric in there, haldi. So a little bit of that, and that's mainly for colour. Usually, actually, when I've got the opportunity, I will use fresh turmeric, but we don't have it at the moment, so we're just using the powdered stuff. Okay, so while that's cooking away, I'll mention the other things that I've added into the mix, and I'll put those in now. So what I do, which Mr Bala didn't do, and would probably cuff me if he found out, is I add a few, just a few, so probably 10 or 12 coriander seeds into there. Now what I like about that is when you're eating the dal, every so often you'll get a little coriander seed taste in your mouth, which just gives a little bit of interest, but being that few, it doesn't flavour the whole dish. The other thing I add is a couple of Kashmiri chilies. These I actually think Bala probably would have added had he had them, but he never had them when I was there, so he didn't add them. So I'm going to put those in as well, and those are going to flavour the oil a little bit. And also I'm going to add a little bit of hing. This is asafoetida, and this is it here. It's made from the gum of a tree. Not particularly pleasant smell, which is horrible. I'm going to add that in there as well. So that adds to the overall depth of the dish once it's cooked. Right, while those are popping, I think Suvrana's going to tell you how her dal varies from mine.
Yes, so what happens with the dal from my house is that we add mustard seeds, jeera seeds, and in the oil and all, and after that we add mashed garlic in the mortar and pestle. We mash them, garlic, and then we put that garlic in the oil when the mustard seeds and jeera seeds is in that, and then we put some tamarind water we put in there, and we close the lid, and becomes nice smell. It spreads around the house. and after putting that, we add the little bit of dal in it. After adding dal, but before adding dal, we boil the dal and all everything, and while the dal is boiling, we just add one thing, that is tomatoes. We add the tomatoes so that they can go a little soggy and all the flavor gets into the dal, and then we put that boiled dal into the tadka which we have done, and yeah, by the spices and a little garam masala and all in that, and curry leaves and all. That's it. It's a very simple dal and more of watery, not like thick how Steve does it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. No, that sounds very different, but it actually isn't that different. Like, they don't use tomato, but they don't use onion, do you? You don't use
No,
onion.
we don't use onion.
Right, but they'll use imli instead, which will
Yes.
give a similar taste.
Yeah.
Anyway, the seeds are popping away now, so we better get in there and do the next stage. So what I do, and this is what he showed me, which did actually surprise me at the time, but it's actually perfectly fine. He puts all of this in at the same time. So, bearing in mind, when Bala was cooking, sometimes he was cooking like 15 different dishes. If you get a group of people coming into the kitchen, and you'd have like 6 people on the table, and they'd order 3 different dishes each. And he was, you know, whizzing around the kitchen cooking all these dishes. To be perfectly honest with you, it wasn't the best food in the world generally, because they had this menu. They seem to do that here a lot. They have this menu that's got about 45 different pages of dishes. And there'd be Israeli dishes, American dishes, British dishes, blah, blah, blah. And they haven't really got the ingredients or the facilities. So all of these things are cooked kind of half-heartedly. But what they do really well is the basic things like Dahl and all the little fried snacks and the bhajis and the pakoras. That's what they do best. So my recommendation to you would be, if you come to India or you are in India, stick to restaurants that cook what they know, or have a small menu. Right, that's all softening up nicely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few curry leaves. What are these called? Curry
Curry patta.
Curry patta,
Yeah.
which is curry leaves basically,
Yeah.
and these are from the tree in the garden. Don't panic if you can't get them or you haven't got any.
Yeah, it's just optional for
It's
you.
optional,
Yeah.
but it adds a little something to it. Now, if you notice, I didn't put a lot of oil in here because I don't like cooking with a lot of oil. So the pan is getting a bit dry now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of the liquid from the dal and I'm going to drop that in there.
Actually, the Steve, what he cooks with the dal and all, we actually in India, people, when they can call it as sambar, because in sambar many vegetables and all go into it. That's why.
Yeah, we had this little
Yes.
chat this morning about sambar and dal.
Dal.
See, to me, sambar is something that you've put a lot of tamarind in. It's got a lot of tamarind juice in it and a sort of different kind of masala. But they call what I do kind of...
It's not totally sambar what you cook. It's like almost it is sambar.
That's the thing in India, though. You can have disputes over food for years and years, like blood feuds,
Yeah.
because someone's uncle cooked it like this. Right, we just had a little momentary pause there while we both coughed our guts up. And you get that when you put chilli in the pan sometimes, because we've had the windows closed because it's raining and everything.
Yes.
You start to cough a little bit and it's not very nice, so we turn the video off briefly. Anyway, this is where we've got to now. So all the onion, tomato, chilli, garlic, all that has all cooked and softened up in that pan, and we've got a little bit of liquid from the dal. Now what Bala showed me to do, but he had this enormous great pot, you know, I've only got a small frying pan. So what he would do is take the cooking dal and vegetables and pour that into the frying pan, and you get this huge explosion and all the juices and everything would mix together and then it would settle down and it would let simmer. I'm going to have to do it the other way round. So I'm going to put some of the liquid from the dal into the frying pan, just to take all the flavours and everything. And then, I'm going to do the opposite, I'm going to put that into there. So that, basically, is your dal. The only thing I haven't done is put salt in, which I'll do in a moment. So taking a little tip from Suvrana, I'm going to wash out the pan with a little extra water so we don't lose any of the flavour. And that's basically your dal. I'll add a little bit of salt. This is a local rock salt, so it's a brown colour rather than white. So I'm just going to add a big pinch of that into there. Now obviously at the end you're going to taste it and see what you think. Add a bit more salt. Add a little garam masala should you need it, or a little bit of lemon juice, and that will be it. So while that's cooking away, a couple of things this was going to mention out of interest. I mentioned Gordon Ramsay earlier on, Bala turning into Gordon Ramsay. Now I just realised a lot of Indian people may not know who Gordon Ramsay is. He's a celebrity chef in England who used to be a footballer. And he's known for being a bit of a thug in the kitchen. He swears, he throws things about, he shouts at people. And that's what Bala used to become. This little, humble little guy. He's turned into this boss. He was boss of his kitchen. That was his little terrain. Anyway, the other thing we were talking about earlier. Now to me, that's quite a big pot of food. That dal will go quite a long way.
Yeah.
And it actually costs next to nothing. There's very little in terms of monetary cost in there. But we were talking about the weddings and the pots they have at the weddings. Basically, you'll get these big Hindu weddings, and all of the family, all of the grannies, all the relations, will all come around. They might be feeding 1,000 people, and the pot sizes they have, you could actually get inside and sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Because I am grown up in a South Indian family, so in our weddings also, like my aunts, uncles' weddings also, the same thing used to happen. All the members used to get together and cook everything. Some people will be in charge of kitchen, some people will be coming, some rituals and all are there. Many rituals are not some, actually many loads of rituals are there in Karnataka, and many Hindu weddings and all. So we used to get all together and take in charge in a particular place and drop down everything, and we used to have big pile of rice and everything, and they used to serve us in a roughly way. No artistic, no dressing, nothing. Just what it is exactly from the kitchen, take it on the table and just serve it to everybody. And everyone will be sitting on the floor with leaves and all. They used to eat on the leaves, like banana leaf and all like that. It was fantastic, it was.
Can you imagine how many chapatis you would need to feed 1,000 hungry people?
Loads. Insane. And the women rolling the chapatis, hats off to them, literally. They roll in such a speed, I don't think so. It can become a Guinness World Record for them, definitely.
If you watch our chapati video that we posted a while back, watch me. That's the kind of speed that you want to achieve to roll thousands of chapatis in half an hour. Anyway, I think we're done now. There's the stuff boiling away, and it was a bit dark actually, sorry about that. But we'll come back to you later on when it's all finished and cooked and we put it in the dish. Right, we're back for the last instalment of Bala's dal making in the shoddy kitchen. So we've taken a bit of the dal, it's all cooked now, and we've put it in this bowl down here. And all we've done is dressed it with a little bit of fresh coriander and a few little shards of lemon zest. What I was going to say to you all is, I think this video is going to be a little bit long, but I would watch it if I were you, because it's got me in it. No, but anyway, there is another video which tells you exactly the information to make a dal should you want it, earlier on in our video selection. So should you want to or be in a hurry, you can watch that one instead. It's just not as interesting because I'm not in it as long. So yeah, it
was the ever first video, I think.
Yes, first ever video, in fact.
Yeah.
Yes. The other thing was, sorry about the little technical difficulties. I always have to apologise about these. The light's been coming and going. The power cuts are coming on. I've got water dripping down the back. There's all sorts of things going on. But we persevered and we got there in the end. So hope you enjoy and see you next time.